Today we are getting a little salty. I just got back from St. Augustine a few weeks ago, and we did some docklight fishing, and yeah, throwing little tiny little glass minnow flies. And when I got home, I'm like, you know what? I need to make one of my own, So, once again, forgot to put the fly in the vise. What else is new? So this is the little guy here. These bait fish are, they're not, they're minnows. Like, they are tiny. Like, they fit inside like a teaspoon almost. They're so small. But they vary in size. So here's another one right here that I tied. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go through how I came up with it and go through and show you how to tie it. So what I start with is a Gamakatsu size 2 SC15. Very small hook, small fly, but these are, made for saltwater. These are a very strong hook. They can handle the snook and trout and, small-ish tarpon that hang on dock lights. And, yeah, so you just want to make sure that it's strong enough. So this time, I am not using black thread. I am using 0.006 mono thread. So I like the way that it shines through on the when I reverse tie the polar fiber in, and then you put UV cure on it, and when you revert it just looks good. It helps the fibers kind of shine through. They have like a sheen to them. So these ones, so the way that we're going to tie it is we're going to tie it with gray and white. And so I got gray polar fiber. I'm sure you've seen it before. Yeah, so, and the way that I cut polar fiber from the hide or whatever is I actually just straight up cut the backing, and it gives you like a, no, get rid of that, but it gives you like a piece that you can work with. And then I'll take my finger brush and I'll kind of brush out the backing, and then kind of gives you the thing, gives you a little tuft that you don't have to kind of manage while you're doing other things. So I'm going to actually tap a little bit of super glue on the top of the hook, because small hook, mono thread, a synthetic fiber, like, stuff likes to move around a lot, so I just kind of cut it like that. And with polar fiber, you can kind of pull it to the length, you can pull it out to the length you want it to be. So length is, you can kind of measure it after the fact. You can kind of pull it to where you want, pull it out to where you want it to be once you got the thing tied up. So I took that piece of polar fiber and I cut it off, and then I'm gonna float around like that, butt ends, lay that on the hook. I'm reverse tying this in to where the tail is facing forward. It's basically how you tie a deceiver. Well, some people tie a deceiver. You don't necessarily need to have a reverse tie in your bucktail or whatever when you're tying a receiver. But so reverse tied it in. So hook is in the vise this way, tail's out that way, and this is gray, and that's going to go on top. Obviously, you can see that. Then we got white, and that's going to go on the bottom. So I do the same thing. I take this out. There's a piece. There's a good piece of hide. Pull this out. it off the hide. That might not be enough, but we can, we'll see. Kind of brush it out. Pull it kind of length, you know. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I think that'll be fine. And I mean, they don't all have to be identical. I mean, they don't all have to be identical. So then take that. Actually, I'm gonna kind of cut that off a little more. It's kind of fuzzy as you get closer to the, yeah, so then you do the same thing, kind of line it up the way you had it with the gray. There should still be a little bit of glue on there. If you need to add more, you add more. Then, so you got it, there you go. And then kind of wrap it up to where you get almost to behind the hook eye, like that. Then wrap it down. You're a little poofy out the back, you can trim it up. That's what I'm gonna do now. A little poofy. Then, so then you can kind of spread the colors pretty easily. I actually need to come up a little bit more behind the eye. There we go. Then bring it back about 1/8 of an inch. Then you can do this with your fingers. I use this little like empty pen just to push everything back after you reverse tie it in. And then you got it reverse tied in, then about 1/8 of an inch back from the hook eye, you could tie it back just like that. Can you see it? It's a little bright, but yeah, just like you would tie a deceiver. Then come back a little bit more, and then I have, this is side scale, or what do they call it? They call it lateral scale. So this is lateral scale. So I tie about 1/2 inch of lateral scale into that there. So I'll start towards the back of the hook and just kind of tie it in with an anchor point and leave a little tag when you cut it off about the length of, you know, your wraps towards the hook eye, and snip it off. And try to tie it in where because I mean it has like a little bit of a memory to it. So like try and tie it into where it bends with the fly. I don't know if that really matters, but I think it looks better. So maybe the fish do. I don't know. They never told me. So, whoops, it's going backwards. So then now you can wrap up, kind of trap all that, lateral scale. Then you just do like probably like a 6-turn whip finish or a 5-turn whip finish, because mono definitely likes to untie itself. But that is why we have the next step. And the next step is I am using, hopefully I didn't lose the lid, there's the lid. I'm using UV Cure Solar Res thin hard formula. It's got a lot of polar fiber on it because this stuff is a mess. So I pull all the fibers back and I just kind of squeeze very lightly but consistently as I work it around the fly, around the wraps, the mono wraps. And it, oh dude, yeah. And then you can kind of roll it in your vise. If you have a rotary vise, you can roll it and it will kind of even itself out, but I just kind of keep tapping on it, tapping on it, tapping on it, tapping on it, just to make sure everything is covered and even. So kind of roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. I'm not gonna start singing Limp Bizkit. So it kind of evens itself out, and then I actually want to throw a little bit of a bump on top. Yeah, there we go. And then roll it, and then when you cure it, you pull everything back. I don't like to look at it, but pull everything back. Takes a good little torching. So, yep. And then you have your glass minnow. I'm actually going to throw a little bit more on top to even the fly out. It didn't look even. Oh, shoot. Well, like I said, they're not all going to look the same. So, yeah, and then if you want to shorten it up, you can pull the tails, the tail fibers out, and it'll shorten up the fly. And yeah, so you can kind of measure it against your other ones, and yeah. So you have my little glass minnow, and I mean, super quick tie. You can kind of knock them out pretty quickly, and this is one of the main type of flies you fish off of, fish for snook and trout and stuff on dock lights. So thanks for checking this out. Good luck out there.